Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. Like today, we're going to discuss the whistleblower Frances Haugen, or Haugen. She's a whistleblower for who used to work at Facebook, who said that Facebook chose profit over the safety of its subscribers, and they wrote about it in the New York Times. And they were saying that John Tye, the founder of Whistleblower Aid, a legal nonprofit that represents people seeking to expose potential law breaking, was contacted this spring through a mutual connection by a woman who claimed to have worked at Facebook. The woman told Mr. Tye and his team something intriguing. She had access to tens of thousands of pages of internal documents from the world's largest social network. In a series of calls, she asked for legal protection and a path to releasing the confidential information. Mr. Tye, who said he understood the gravity of what the woman brought within a few minutes, agreed to represent her and call her by the alias Sean. So they looked at the paperwork, found that she had substantial evidence to go ahead with her whistleblower case, right? We're going to get more into that. Now, Mr. Tye says she is a very courageous person and is taking a personal risk to hold a $1 trillion company accountable, he said. Now, we'll get into that more, because what I really want to ask you guys is capitalism, right? How far will we go for a profit? On Sunday, Frances Haugen revealed herself as a whistleblower against Facebook, a product manager who worked on the civic misinformation team at the social network before leaving in May. She has used the documents she amassed to expose how much the company knew about the harms that it was causing, and provided the evidence to lawmakers, regulators, and the news media. So basically she's saying, yeah, of course Facebook knows what's going on, because they have people in certain positions and teams in place to monitor certain activities. They have damage control, because at the end of the day, the goal is to protect the company, make the profit. Now, are we naive as consumers or Patreons of certain companies or products to where we hope that they have our best interest at heart? That the image and vision that they show in these commercials, we digest that and we believe that that's how it actually goes down. Then the whistleblowers comes out and they have evidence showing that they've been doing their people wrong, or been doing their people dirty, and the people get shocked and upset, right? But it's been so many. I mean, how many times you've been just talking about something to an individual, and all of a sudden you get an ad for that product just pop up on your Facebook page, right? But the goal is to get the people so addictive, right, to their brand, to where they're hooked and they'll participate regardless, even if their safety is at risk, even if their personal information is being sold. The addiction is, hey, look, I get a chance to post me, and I get a chance to get likes. It's almost like I'm famous being on television, and hey, that's the trade-off, right? But what is it actually doing to the psyche of the individual? Ms. Haugen gave many of the Facebook documents to the Wall Street Journal, right? Well, let's go back. In an interview with 60 Minutes, Ms. Haugen, 37, said, I've seen a bunch of social networks, and it is substantially worse at Facebook than what I had seen before, she added. Facebook over and over again has shown it chose profit over safety. Ms. Haugen gave many of the Facebook documents to Wall Street Journal, which last month began publishing the findings. The revelations including that Facebook knew Instagram was worsening body image issues among teenagers and that it had a two-tier justice system have spurred criticism from lawmakers, regulators, and the public. That's called creating a controversy in order to uplift the brand. You know, they'll have these young girls ashamed of their body or showing their body image and competing with each other on Instagram, and they understand the effects of what it'll do, but for the viewership and the subscribers that it gets to Instagram, I mean, they're not concerned. Ms. Hodgen has also filed a whistleblower complaint with the Securities and Exchange Commission, accusing Facebook of misleading investors on various issues with public statements that did not match the company's internal actions. And she has talked with lawmakers such as Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat of Connecticut, and Senator Marsha Blackburn, a Republican of Tennessee, and shared subsets of the documents with them. The spotlight on Ms. Hodgen is set to grow brighter. On Tuesday, she is scheduled to testify in Congress about Facebook's impact on young users, right? Now, you all remember when they were saying that how social media was becoming too big and they wanted to regulate it. All of this plays a part in what's going on today, right? Because you damn near can decide a presidential election through social media. You can have a cyber bullying campaign which causes someone to commit suicide through social bullying. It's so many ways. It's so powerful, and it shapes or destroys so many lives till it has a mind of its own, right? Can you regulate it? There will have to be new law and new rules set, because actually social media is something not new on the scene, but it's still being examined. Let's put it like that. Ms. Hodgen's actions were a sign of how Facebook has turned increasingly leaky as the company has grown into a behemoth with over 63,000 employees. Some of them have become dissatisfied as it has lurched from controversy to controversy over data privacy, misinformation, and hate speech. In 2018, Christopher Wiley, a disgruntled former employee of the consulting firm Cambridge Analytica, set the stage for those leaks. Mr. Wiley spoke with the New York Times, the Observer of London, and the Guardian to reveal that Cambridge Analytica had improperly harvested Facebook data to build voter profiles without users' consent. Now, what's the purpose of your voter's profile, right? It's because they can determine which way you're going to vote and which way you're going to lean, and with that, they know how to advertise or promote something to you, which will cater towards your best, what they would feel to be your best interest, but actually would cater towards your pattern. Your footprint, who you are, what you mostly lean towards, and so they know how to go in and tip the scale a bit. In the aftermath, more of Facebook's own employees started speaking up. Later that same year, Facebook workers provided executive memos and planning documents to news outlets, including the Times and BuzzFeed News. In mid-2020, employees who disagreed with Facebook decisions to leave up a controversial post from President Donald J. Trump staged a virtual walkout, and sent more internal information to news outlets. I think over the last year, there have been more leaks than I think all of us would have wanted. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's chief executive, said in a meeting with employees in June 2020. Facebook has already tried to preemptively push back against Ms. Hodgins on Friday. Nick Clegg, Facebook vice president for policy and global affairs, sent employees a 1,500-word memo laying out what the whistleblower was likely to say on 60 Minutes and calling the accusations misleading on Sunday. Mr. Clegg appeared on CNN to defend the company, saying that the platform reflected the good, the bad, and ugly of humanity, and that it was trying to mitigate the bad, reduce it, and amplify the good. Now, okay, we have to ask ourselves the question. Do we really want our social media platforms to be regulated, or is social media should be a symbol of freedom, to where you put on there whatever you choose through the First Amendment, through freedom of speech, and let the chips fall where they may, especially on the adult stage, because adults should be at a position to where they know how to discern information and how to reject information and not be influenced one way or the other. But on that hand, when it comes to children and misleading information that is getting into young minds who can't process and distinguish between what's right or what's wrong, or who haven't even established their own position on certain issues, that's who needs to be protected. And they have to find a better way to protect the youth, which is seems like damn near impossible to do, right? Anybody can put a fake profile picture up, put a name, and start stating their beliefs and how they see the world and what they think things are, or how they think things should be. So, I don't know, man. It's hard to regulate it. Ms. Hodgins' complaint to the SEC was based on her document trove and consisted of many cover letters, 7 of which were obtained by the Times. Each letter detailed a different topic, such as Facebook's role in spreading misinformation after the 2020 election, the impact its products have on teenagers, mental health, and its disclosures about user demographics and activity, and accused the company of making material misrepresentations and omissions in statements to investors and prospective investors. So they saying, damn, they was misinforming investors there to get that money. Wow. The letters compared public statements and disclosures to lawmakers made by Mr. Zuckerberg and other top Facebook executives to the company's internal research and documents. In one cover letter, Ms. Hodgins said Facebook contributed to election misinformation and the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. While Facebook has publicized its work to combat misinformation and violent extremism relating to the 2020 elections and insurrection, Ms. Hodgins' documents told a different story. The cover letter read, "In reality, Facebook knew its algorithm and platforms promoted this type of harmful content, and they failed to deploy internally recommended or lasting countermeasures." Wow. What they basically saying is Facebook knew how harmful the rhetoric was that was being presented on their platform, but yet so many people was feeding into it, it just let it ride and didn't put safety first. So is just Facebook, social media, be regulated to discern what's good for the public and what's not for the public? I guess when you get misinformation, yeah, there's that they should be liable, because the truth is the truth. But if you know that it's not correct and you push it anyway, then okay, yeah, you have some responsibility right there. So I get it. Mr. Ty said he had been in touch with the SEC's whistleblower office and Division of Enforcement regarding Facebook. The SEC typically provides protection for corporate tipsters that shield them from retaliation. The agency also provides awards of up to 10% to 30% to whistleblowers, and their tips lead to successful enforcement actions that yield monetary penalties of more than $1 million. The SEC did not respond to a request for comment. After filing the SEC complaint, Ms. Hodgen and her legal team contacted Mr. Blumenthal and Ms. Blackburn. Mr. Ty said the lawmakers had held a hearing in May about protecting children online, focusing on how companies like Facebook were collecting data through apps like Instagram. Wow. Interesting. Hey, it's getting deep. In August, Mr. Blumenthal and Ms. Blackburn sent a letter to Mr. Zuckerberg asking Facebook to disclose its internal research about how its services were affecting children's mental health. Facebook responded with a letter that played up its app's positive effects on children and deflecting questions about internal research. And whenever you hear the term deflecting, like that means they're hiding something. That means that the officials know they're hiding something. That means they're getting ready to move in on them. Right. Profit over safety. But documents from Ms. Hodgen show that Facebook's researchers have performed many studies on the effects that its products can have on teenagers. Mr. Blumenthal said in an interview, Facebook had engaged in concealment and deception, he said. If Facebook really wants to be credible, they should release all the documents and tweets on Friday. Mr. Blumenthal also said that the whistleblower had provided documents about Facebook and Instagram that were damning. Wow. I mean, we got... And the sad part about it is most of the subscribers on Facebook, Instagram, and most of the content is people of color, minorities, right? And it's been incidents where some people had beef on these social media sites which spilled out in the streets. Now, did Facebook know, unaware of the beefs and didn't step in to curtail them since they were used on this platform, and later on someone got shot or killed behind it? You know, did they pump it up and want to see the end result of what this beef would lead to? I mean, hey, at the end of the day, we have to police ourselves, right? We have to do what's right by our children. Parents, you got to go in there and get your children's password and code and see what's going on. See if some old man ain't on there trying to talk to you little girls, or see if some old woman ain't on there trying to talk to you little boys. I mean, it's crazy. You got to look into your children's personal life, especially under your roof. You don't want to wait till something happens. It's too late then, and at the end of the day, you'll be saying, damn, I should have looked into it. Why I didn't do this. You know, will Facebook go away? Nah, they'll pay the penalty and fine and keep on going, and they'll promise to make some changes, and then they'll get someone will monitor them to make sure that they're abiding by whatever rules and new rules and regulations that be set forth to them. So then after a while, they go back to the same thing, man. It's just it's wild. You know, life is wild, but we in it. When adults have to play a major role in making sure things are being done the way it should be. I remember when I was younger, man, you would have parents out there of all races with a picket sign protesting something in front of headquarters if it was harmful to their children. They'd be out there shutting it down, fighting. Well, you're not going to, you're not going to show this on TV. You're not going, it's certain, at one point in time,